up, everyone? It's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and I am joined with Meghan's mole. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Royal Clubhouse Live. And in the Harry and Meghan news of the week, we're going to discuss why did Meghan Markle not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia? Now, Meghan's mole, you have some and some would say very controversial opinions about Archie and Lilibet. So why do you think Megsy didn't bring them to Colombia?
Well, that's an easy answer. First of all, can I say that your intros always take me out? Like, I'm always laughing at them. I love your royal intros. But also, Meghan didn't bring Archofficial or Invisibet because then they would get the attention. It's supposed to be all about Meghan and her fake kindness towards the children because we would see how she would pretend to be all happy and smiley when she's posing with the kids. But then there are some photos where I think she thinks the cameras are off of her and you see the scowl on her face. That poor child's hand that she was holding. Can someone please let me know if that child's hand is okay? Because it looked like she was gripping that kid's hand like she was squishing it. It was crazy. I need a report. I need to know that that child is safe and if they were okay and if their hand is okay also. But yeah, Archie and Lilibet didn't come because Meghan would get the attention.
Yeah, I mean, I did a video earlier on this week and it was absolutely insane. There's this one picture of Meghan and she's sat next to this child, this boy, and she's kind of looking down at him, down her nose at him, and he's like, to me, "Save me,
Yeah.
please. Save me,
Yeah.
please." I mean, the majority of the photos that have come out when it comes to, Hazza and Megsy with the children of Colombia, actually, they don't give a shiz. Like, they
No.
really, really don't give a shiz whatsoever. They're bored. And I think part of it is there's a rumor, don't think it's really confirmed as such, that Hazza and Megsy actually deceived the Colombian children. They thought that this like famous footballer was actually going to visit them, but instead they had the gruesome twosome that came up.
Yeah,
Um,
so it was sorry to interrupt you
yeah, go
there,
for it.
Steph. That was Enty who had first shared that information, and he was the one that broke that story. So he had mentioned that the children were told that a famous football star was going to show up, and they even stayed past school time. They stayed over an hour later because Harry and Meghan are constantly late for some reason and wasting money constantly. And the children were told that they would have meet a soccer star. Instead, they got Harry and Meghan. I
Wah,
let me
wah, wah.
Yeah. What a bait and switch, huh? Who does that to children? That's the most horrific thing to do, especially to like children who are in those areas where they don't see, like, you get them all excited only to rip the carpet out from them. It's so mean. And as a parent myself, you cannot put this image out that you're a caring, compassionate person and you care for others people's children when we have yet to see how you interact with your own children, and you keep your own alleged children hidden from both sides of the family. So, how are we supposed to believe that you're this compassionate person who cares about people's children when you are basically emotionally and mentally damaging your own alleged children by keeping them hidden like phantom hostages?
Well, this kind of gets on to my next part of the conversation with you because, yes, you do have, as some would say, some controversial opinions in terms of the existence of Archie and Lilibet. Now, I have just put a poll in the live chat. You guys in the live are welcome to participate in it. Do you believe that Archie and Lilibet actually exist? Yes or no? Use your vote now on that. But in the meantime, I saw this that came out and I thought, this is a little bit of an interesting tidbit. Now, it's a blind item for Menti Lawyer, and it was done about 3 days ago. So the name on the birth certificate of the older child, so this is, I'm presuming they're talking about Megsy and Archie here, isn't in the California vaccine computer system anyway. So what name is the offspring of the illiterate one using? And I would safely assume that if Archie and Lilibet exist, that they would have had their vaccines, because Hazza and Megzi made such a song and dance about
Mhm.
vaccine equity about
Mhm.
3-4 years ago during that, and we're going to call it the Bud Light episode because a YouTube human reviewer here. And so you mentioned Meghan's mole that, oh, yeah, the reason why Megzi didn't bring Archie and Lilibet is because they would have taken all of the attention away from her, which, again, to speak to her alleged narcissism would be an absolute nightmare for someone like Megzi. But does
Mhm.
it go a little bit further with, well, she didn't bring them because, quite frankly, they don't exist?
Personally, myself, I think that there is an Archie. I'm always stuck on the second part. I'm always stuck on the whole Invisibet part. I don't know if there's actually an Invisibet who exists, but I personally believe there's an Archie. I always say Meghan's birthed her children by surrogacy, which is why they don't belong in the line of succession. That's been my whole thing, right? Like, prove that you gave birth to those children. That's it. But I think that I think maybe because Archie's birth certificates have been changed and amended a couple times, a part of me sometimes wonder if they used a different name for Archie to register him. Like, did they register him under the name of His Royal Highness Prince Archofficial Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, sixth in line Sussex? Or did they use like a different last name, like Archie Sussex, and register him? There's a lot, or who even knows if Harry and Meghan are even being honest? Like, who knows if they even took the vaccine themselves? We don't know that either. We don't know anything because it's always been a game with these two. These two are liars, and just because they support something doesn't mean that they actually really support it, right? They're just jumping on the bandwagon.
Hmm. I mean,
What
it
do you
would make, to me, they jump on the bandwagon a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
they piggyback off of other causes, charities, whatever you want to call it, an opinion conspiracy theory, whatever. Try and make it out that it was their idea, that they created it. I mean, the most epic, obvious one of all is the Invictus Games with Prince Harry. No, it wasn't just his idea. Firstly, it was created with the Ministry of Defence, Prince William and Princess Catherine. But secondly, he stole the idea from the Warrior Games, as far as a lot of us are concerned, right? So that's just one example of how they like to take causes and charities and whatnot and spin it to try and make it their own and make it out that they were the only ones that created it, that they're the only ones that thought of it, this, that, and the other. One thing that doesn't make sense is, for all the time that they spent with the Colombian children, you would have thought that, well, hang on a minute, why not bring Archie and Lilibet to meet the Colombian children as well? See
Mhm.
how the other children in the world live. Get them to be more cultured, more open to the world. If anything, I'm actually quite concerned when it comes to Archie and Lilibet, because by all kind of like intents purposes, how it all looks, it feels like they're just trapped in Montecito Royale, like the
You
two princes locked in the tower situation.
Yeah,
Kind of feels
it's
like
an
that, but with
overall.
Archie and Lilibet. I wonder how their social development is coming along when it comes to interacting with other children and things like that.
Girl, it's a sad, sad situation all around. I personally, I think that number one, besides Megan not taking the invisible children down to Colombia because all the attention would then be on them, I feel like Megan wouldn't take them down there because she thinks her children are better than those kids. Like, she's a snob about it. Like, she thinks, why would I bring my kids to meet these gross children that live in these huts? Like, she probably thinks like that. She probably definitely looks down at these children, these innocent children who are born in these countries. Like, she probably thinks, my kids are too good to meet these people. I'm not bringing them here. Gross. It's probably like that. You ever thought about it that way?
You make a good point. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. I this is the way that I think about it. She's like, why would I bring my children around these kids? Gross. That's what I think. Like, why wouldn't you? Like okay, I constantly tell everyone, like, my little one is a few weeks younger than Archie. Okay, so he loves going places. He loves seeing different things. Like, I take him everywhere, to the museum, to art galleries. He loves that kind of stuff. And you're opening their minds to like other things. And it's just like, why wouldn't you want your children to interact with other kids? Why? Because she probably thinks her kids are better than everyone else's. Her kids only should be around people with money. It's almost like she's using her own children as like pawns to social climb. She only wants her children to be around like other millionaire children or other wealthy people, but then she's always keeping them hostage. How are your children going to be able to interact with other kids when they're not around other kids? It's
Yeah, but not
sad.
only that, other kids from different social and economic backgrounds. One of
Mhm.
the reasons why I think uh, something went wrong with Hazard, but why Prince William is so much more relatable and so much more well liked in various corners of the UK community. Because whether you're poor, you're rich, or in the middle, wherever you've come from, Prince William is one of the most popular members of the royal family. And that,
Mhm.
I think, is to do with his upbringing that Princess Diana tried to instill in both him and Hazard. Somewhat went wrong with Hazard. That's a given, really, at this point. And
Been dropped on his head. That's what.
possibly, I wouldn't be surprised. But this is the thing, you saying that Megsy uses her children as pawns. I definitely do believe that. I mean, she used them as pawns all the way through, this Colombian trip, peppered with little anecdotes here and there, saying to a student, apparently in Spanish, that you're the same age as my son Archie. Now, whether she actually said that in proper, correct Spanish or not, is another thing altogether. Let's be real here. And then, the internet broke. Yeah, right. When some of the Sussex squaddies noticed that, oh, look, Megsy did bring Archie and Lilibet. She's wearing them on her chest with a lovely little necklace. Yeah, no, it would have been better that they actually came. Because do you know what? If Colombia is good enough for Megsy and Hazard to travel to, then it should also be good enough then for Archie and Lilibet to go to, seeing as the UK is so dangerous that Megsy could be a victim of a knife or acid attack. But Colombia's Gucci. Yeah.
Can I just make a point here, Steph, also? Um, I had said before, because have you ever noticed how we never see photos of Prince Harry around any of the younger children in the family? Have you ever noticed that? Like, we've never seen photos of Harry playing with George or Charlotte or Louis or any of the younger, like, children. And it almost makes me wonder if, like, something is wrong with Harry and he's kind of passing that genetic pain down to his own phantom hostage children, his genetic pain that he cried about.
Well, I do believe, I mean, we're not diagnosing here. We're not like
No, not at all.
proper
We're just
medical
having.
experts or anything. This is just shooting the wind. But I do think there is something psychologically wrong with Hazard, as with
Mhm,
Megsy as well, right? I mean, there's all those rumors that he has an anger issue. Now, for
mhm.
all the attempts that the Sussex squad try to make, turning around and saying, no, 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 it's Prince William that has the anger issue, this, that, and the other, and all the attempts that they do from time to time with the headlines being, oh, Prince William's got a temper, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not Prince William that's got the problem with his anger, it's Hazard. And there are a lot of rumours and speculation in terms of Hazard's past when it comes to alleged
Yeah.
interactions with the police,
Mhm,
when it comes to his anger, and a
mhm.
lot of things that have been allegedly swept under the carpet to
Well,
other
yeah, we've s
people's and alleged victims' detriment.
mhm.
And so when you've got someone who, let's say, allegedly has a major, major anger problem, okay, that can be quite physical with it. Would you want that person to be around children? I know I wouldn't. I'm not a mother, let me be real here. But I know I wouldn't want that person around kids, that's for sure.
Of course. Of course not. I mean, we've all seen the photos of Harry, him stumbling out of the pubs drunk, him trying to fight the paparazzi when he was younger. We've all seen angry Harry. Harry seems to think that just because he married Meghan Markle, all of that from his past has been wiped clean and he can rewrite his story of how he was such a good boy. But we all remember seeing angry Harry. You still see flashes of it.
Mm. Now, the thing is, and I'm going to be, like, for me, fair on this. Angry Harry during his, like, early teenage years, you know, stumbling out of the nightclubs, getting drunk, being angry, all this lot. I'm not actually going to, like, I want to say use that against him, but, you know, put that in as a factor. We've all been there. We've all been teenagers. We've all done dumb, stupid things as teenagers. I know I, for one, was a very, very angry teenager myself. I had a lot of anger issues. I'll be very, very honest with that. But I grew out of it, right? I grew up. I've learned to deal with my anger better. And as a result, I've got a happier life for it. For Hazza, I think that based on all the actions and everything that he said over the years, he's not gone past that. He's not grown up and learnt from it and uses that anger as a strength rather than a negative. It's still poison and it permeates everything that he does. And so as a result, when you've got someone who's like nearly like, I think 40 years old at this point, and he's got so much anger in him and still so much aggression, the here and now, it's like, well, hell no, I wouldn't want him around children. No way,
Yeah.
no how.
Yeah.
But going back to the main topic of discussion here, why did Megxie not bring Archie and Lilibet to Colombia? Well, according to Meghan's mole, we're looking at two options here. We're looking at, well, if they do exist, Megxie won't want them over in Colombia because they would steal the limelight, and Megxie is an alleged narcissist. Big, massive nightmare for her. And the second reason is, well, potentially they may not exist. Archie, yes. Lilibet, not too sure. But with that being said, if you appreciated what was coming out of Meghan Markle's gob, of course you did, because her logic is definitely undeniable, guys. Then head on over to her channel, Meghan's Mole. Let's help her finally get to 100,000. Guys, this is well overdue. And when I look at her Twitter and it says she's got the PhD in moon bumpology, guys, everything I know about it, I literally learned from Meghan's Mole. I still remember like the hour conversation that we had, where you were kind of like explaining all the ins and outs of it as to why, you know, you thought the pregnancies were, you know, allegedly fake, this, that, and the other. And I will always take that memory throughout me for the rest of the time, because it was like so awesome to speak to you and for you to explain everything. But when they come to your channel, honey, what are they to expect?
Oh, you know, just straight up honest truth and, you know, no sugarcoating on my channel. I just get right to the point, give my opinions, and sometimes we get a little bit wacky, but yeah, we just like to talk about what Meghan's doing, and that's it. And if she didn't want to be criticized, if she didn't want to hear my opinion, well, maybe behave yourself and act like a human being for once in your life, a respectable, classy human being. I know it's very difficult. I know it's very hard, but try it sometimes.
Try it sometimes, guys. And if you appreciated what was coming out of my gob, and I would say you did, because, you know, I'm biased that way, then make sure on your way out you subscribe to this channel for your daily nerds. With that being said, everyone watching on the live, stay exactly where you are. We're not done with you yet. But for everyone watching on the replay, here are some videos that you may want to clickety-click, clickety-click.